everyone. My little guy is in the shower. I just had a bath. It was a rain day today, a cold rain day, like 40s. So I didn't even do my hair or anything. I was really tired last night right after I got off the vlog. Like really tired. So instead of waiting, I started getting ready for bed an hour early. But then for some reason, washing my face and brushing my teeth always wakes me up. So it still took a while to get to sleep. Sebastian was exhausted coming off of Halloween. It finally hit him last night before dinner. And he slept until like after 9. I woke up around 9, which is late for me. But he slept until like 9:40. And I was like, dude, I need to get up. But he freaks out if I get out of bed when he's not awake. Sorry, I'm just cleaning up a little bit. Yeah, so I got downstairs like 15 or 20 minutes late, but did my best to hurry through the morning. I made an interesting apple pancake, kind of like these baked ones we used to love getting in California. I forget the place. It's like Tom or Tim or something in the name. We go to one in La Jolla. I think there's another location that we've been to. Yeah, in downtown San Diego. It's like this big German pancake, but I did it where you cook the apple slices in butter and sugar and cinnamon, and then you pour the pancake batter on top and cover it. And when it's set enough, you flip the whole thing. I did pull out a second pan and heat it up and oil it because I was worried I wouldn't be able to flip it. It would start to fall apart, and I wanted a big pan to just like dump the whole thing in to save it. But it flipped and it was good. The only problem was the apples were a little overcooked in spots. So I just need to play around with the heat and the time. And I think maybe not cook the apples fully before I put the batter in, just cook them part way and then pour the batter in because they're going to continue to cook while the pancake's cooking. But otherwise, it was good. We put some apple butter on it. Everybody had a slice. Then schoolwork. It was a Totoro day. I filmed a little bit of it, but I made them all custom worksheets that were Totoro themed, and we did a little felt Totoro craft. The glue doesn't like to hold that well. I might have to pull out my felt glue so we can tack it down a little bit more because it's not fully sticking. Pikachu had that problem too, but my felt glue bottle is not very kid friendly, so I might have to just touch that up for him. After schoolwork, we did iPad school. Since we weren't going on a walk, we finally got in there and did a little bit of tablet time. It is important. He needs to be able to use his tablet as well. And speaking of tablets, he's had this library one for like 2 weeks now and hasn't touched it. We just plugged it in to charge it and he never used it. But after that, it was already getting late, so we had some lunch. He just had an assortment of stuff. Very typical for my boys at that age. They just rattle off a bunch of things they want. So he had cucumber, bacon, cheese, and then he had a banana pudding. And then I was having an apple with peanut butter and crackers, and he wanted, here I'm opening the door, he wanted some of my peanut butter because it's a really nice brand of peanut butter. Oh, door's closed, I don't know what he's doing. But after lunch it was already like time to go up and have quiet time. It was like 3, which is my cutoff. So I came up, did quiet time, and came downstairs right around 5. I did an indoor jog. I didn't bother filming it. It's just me running in the same place in the kitchen. It's the only place I can do it. Otherwise the dog loses his mind and starts getting the zoomies and jumping up on me. So he's gotten used to me just running right there, right around where I would cook, because I often do it while I'm cooking. But did it before, and then my husband wanted soup, which is great because it's a rainy day. I wasn't feeling it, but it always tastes good and I can always eat it. It just wasn't, I wasn't craving anything. I wasn't craving anything at lunch either. Just needed food. But yeah, the soup's always different every time. Throw things in a little differently. This time I did macaroni noodles, yellow squash, celery, peas, carrots, spinach, chickpeas. I don't know if I've repeated any of that. I think he's okay. And then I had some leftover vegetables from ramen night, Halloween night. It was like peas, carrots, corn, lima beans, and green beans. Just like succotash, I think it's called. Is that a thing in other countries, or is that just an American thing? Then, yeah, my husband always makes them grilled cheese. I can't have grilled cheese. I could probably get some baked cheese, but I mean, I don't like it. It doesn't have good protein. It's just empty calories and fat, so I don't bother. I just had some of our leftover corn chips from when we had ordered Mexican food. Dunked those in the soup. But then I came up into my bath, as I said, and after that I was working on knitting. As I showed you a little bit, I was doing a little tiny sample of the knitting I'm going to make for a hat for my friends. And the point of that is to be able to measure how wide the stitches are. So say I got 11 stitches per 2 inches, so now I can calculate how many stitches around I need the whole thing to be 24 inches. And I will go ahead and start. I'll have to do the ribbed band and do that a little bit smaller because it's stretchy, so 1 needle size down, and then I'll start in on the actual thing with the right size needles and confirm that it's measuring the same. And then once I've got a little bit, I can measure it and make sure it is big enough. Otherwise I have to start over, but it's because I'm sort of making the pattern up. I did buy the crochet pattern to get the pattern chart, so I'm not stealing it, even though I could just look at it and do it. Gotta support fiber artists. And yeah, I'm just kind of converting it to a knit hat that'll be much easier to wear, much stretchier, and in my opinion, I think it looks better. I don't know. I mean, everybody's opinion's different. I prefer to knit. I don't like to crochet, so in my offering to do this for her, I'm doing it in the way that's not going to make me want to stab my eyes out. But I will say, doing that sample is really hard. When you're going to be knitting in the round, so like a hat, not just back and forth, you should do your swatch, your sample in the round. So I do it about cup cozy size. And you can go ahead and finish that cup cozy and actually use it, but whew, you either have to have a really long needle and do what's called magic loop, where you have a lot of extra cord between the 2 needles and you're pulling it in and out. I hate doing that. I always hated doing that. Usually I use the traditional way, which is a bunch of needles that have points on both ends. They're called double pointed needles. And you just divide, you just use them around the circle. Each one might have like 10 stitches on it, and you just work your way around. You have 1 extra one, and that's your loose one that you're knitting with, and you go from needle to needle. And normally that's fine, but I did learn to knit really in earnest post-stroke, and this hand is very numb. This finger is completely numb. Just pins and needles is my only feeling, unless you really get deep down in there and I like really like stick my nail in there, then I can feel it. The others, low sensitivity, I drop things a lot, so I'm always dropping those dang needles, and that hand needs to hold the needle you're working with. So it gets frustrating. I go between loving doing the double pointed because I like the challenge, and some days there's just this voice in my head that's just like, just give up. You just keep dropping it. You're dropping it again and again and again. Just give up and move on. So, but I stuck with it long enough to get a accurate swatch to measure. So, but I did give up. I'm not doing the whole thing, partially because I don't like the contrast of 2 of our colors in one section, so I wouldn't want to continue on to make a cup cozy. I'm going to switch out one of the colors to be higher contrast. I think the rest will be fine because it's a black and gold bee. It's the gold and the gray that are having problems, but there's minimal gold touching the gray and the bee. It's just some of the stripes. I think he'll stand out just fine, and I can tweak it. I have no problems with frogging, with ripping back. But yeah, that's what I was doing. I just now started casting on 132 stitches to see if that will work out, but I do need to make it past the rib because it's hard to judge from that. My head is a little bit smaller than her head, even though I have a big head. Big head girls unite. So it needs to be loose on me. I should measure some of my hats because I like really loose hats. I might have some that are actually her size. But yeah, I've got that over there because I was just making the bed. But I need to get him out soon, get him to bed. I've got to edit this, which I'm not looking forward to because when it's a boring ass day and I got nothing, I hate editing it because it's just boring. I have never had a day in my 1,115 days of doing this in a row where I just flat out didn't want to do it. But it's definitely not as fun when it's a boring day and I got nothing. But it is what it is. And that's my day today. It's my life. It's going to be a lot more boring. We're not going to be doing as much because we're still avoiding germs. Current events though, CDC approved the use of the COVID vaccine, Pfizer flavor, for children 5 to 11. I have a 5-year-old and I have an 11-year-old. So pretty soon my pacing got me the rest of the way to my calorie burn. We will be scheduling the children at some point this month, I guess, for their first shot. I do need to get flu shots for everybody, but I'm just trying to decide if I'm going to do that in between or after they're done with the COVID. They are not exposed to anybody right now, so it's fine. I tend to do my flu shots later in the season, closer to the holidays. We don't go to see anybody in the holidays. We don't travel to see family. And I feel like it protects me longer into the season. So I like to do it then, but I don't know. But I'm gonna say goodnight because he's calling me. Good night. I love you guys so much. Stay safe, be kind, and don't forget, wash your hands.